The next morning, Anna didn't want to leave the hotel room. Her award sat quietly on the nightstand, untouched, almost like it didn't belong there. Sunlight streamed through the long curtains, painting golden lines across the carpet. Her chest, it still felt cloudy. She stared at her phone. Dozens of missed calls, hundreds of messages. Everyone wanted a quote, a post, a selfie. They all saw the shining dress and the smile. They didn't see what happened backstage, except him. Keanu had left a note on her door before sunrise. It was written in simple handwriting. Coffee, no cameras. Lobby, whenever you're ready. She held the note in her hand for a while, folding and unfolding it before finally getting dressed. No makeup, no heels, no performance, just herself. When she arrived at the lobby, he was already waiting, sitting in the far corner near the window, wearing a hoodie and jeans. No one recognized him. Or maybe they didn't, just knew better than to interrupt. Anna sat down across from him quietly. Neither of them said good morning. After a long sip of coffee, Keanu looked at her and asked, "How's your heart, Anna?" Took a breath. "Bruised," she said honestly, "but still beating." He nodded gently. "Good bruises heal. They just take time and patience." She smiled faintly, her fingers wrapped around the warm cup. "You always talk like a monk." She teased softly. Keanu chuckled. "Maybe I was one." In a past life, Anna looked out the window. People passed by, unaware of the silent moment happening. Behind the glass, then she asked, "Do you ever wonder if it's worth it?" "What?" he asked. "This whole life. The cameras, the press, the pressure, the smiling when you don't want to. The pretending you're okay even when you're not. Is it worth it?" Keanu leaned back. He didn't answer right away. Instead, he asked, "What would you do if it wasn't?" Anna thought for a long time. "I'd disappear," she said. "Find a little town near the sea, grow herbs, wear old sweaters. No one asking for photos, no one telling me who to be." "Sounds peaceful," Keanu replied. "Sounds like I'd finally be free," she said. But then she looked at her hands. Quiet, unsure. "But I'd miss it," she added. "Not the fame, but the work, the stories, the way a single scene can move someone's heart." Keanu nodded slowly. "Then maybe it's not about escaping. Maybe it's about remembering why you started." Anna looked at him. "Why did you start?" He smiled faintly. "Because someone believed in me when I didn't. And now I try to pass that forward." Anna felt that sentence settle in her chest like a stone in a still lake that day. Instead of going to the after interviews or the post-award brunch, they walked. No security, no assistance, no plans. Just the city, their footsteps, and the sound of old leaves crunching beneath them. They stopped at a street corner where a woman was playing violin. Her music was sad but beautiful, like a forgotten memory. Anna stood still, listening. Something in the way the violin cried made her eyes sting again. Keanu dropped a bill into the case, then stepped back. "What is it?" he asked softly, watching her. Anna shook her head. "That sound, ... It's what I felt last night. It's like something was breaking but trying to stay beautiful." Keanu didn't reply. He just stood beside her. Then the violinist finished and looked up. She smiled at Anna. "You look familiar," the woman said kindly. Anna hesitated, unsure if she should smile and pretend or just tell the truth. Keanu stepped forward and said, "She's someone who helped me find my way." The woman nodded. Gently, "Well, she looks like someone with a lot of heart." They walked on. By evening, they found a little diner on the edge of town. It was empty except for a tired cook and a young waitress who looked like she had dreams too big for her shoes. As they sat in the booth, Anna finally broke the quiet again. "Last night, I wasn't crying because I was sad." Keanu raised an eyebrow. "Mean ... I was sad. But not just that," she said. "I was crying because ... It felt like no one saw me anymore. Only what I'm supposed to be. Perfect, graceful, untouchable." Keanu stirred his coffee. "But that's not what makes people. Love you, he said. Anna looked confused. He continued, people don't fall in love with perfection. They fall in love with the cracks, the real parts, the soft moments, the mess. She sat with those words for a long time. What if I showed too much of that? She asked. Then they'll finally see the whole you, he said. And the ones who stay, that's your real audience. A few moments later, the young waitress came over with their food. She hesitated before placing the plates down. I just wanted to say, the girl began nervously. Your speech last night. It made me cry. I'm in school for acting. I'm always scared I'll never be enough. But when you spoke, I believed I might be. Thank you. Anna's mouth opened slightly, and her eyes began to shine. Thank you, Anna, said softly. You just gave me a reason to keep going. After the girl walked away, Keanu smiled. See, he said, sometimes all we need is one voice, one small echo that reminds us we matter. Anna breathed deeply. And what about you? She asked. Who reminds you? He looked at her. People like you, he answered. They finished there. Milan stepped back outside into the night. The sky was wide, painted with stars, the kind you don't see during events or premieres, the kind you see only when you slow down long enough to look up. Anna turned toward Keanu, her breath visible in the cool air. Promise me something, she said. What's that? If I ever lose myself again, you'll remind me. Not with advice, not with speeches, just be there. Like you were last night. Keanu nodded gently. Always. They stood there, two people known by millions, yet hidden in a quiet moment only they would remember. And that's when Anna finally smiled, not for a photo, not for an audience, but for herself. The kind of smile that doesn't need permission. A smile that says, I'm still here, and I'm still trying. The lights in the theater were blinding. They shimmered across the stage like stars caught in a storm. Photographers shouted, cameras clicked, and the room swelled with applause. But none of that reached Anna. Her heels trembled slightly on the polished floor as she stood there, frozen in a beautiful silver gown that now felt too heavy, too loud. She had just received the biggest award of her career, but her hands were shaking. Everyone thought she was smiling because of joy, but Keanu, standing behind the curtains, knew better. 3 hours earlier, everything was different. The limousine had arrived at the hotel lobby right on time. Anna stepped in quietly, her eyes tired, her face composed. Keanu was already inside. Dressed in a simple black suit, he greeted her with a gentle nod and a soft smile. You okay? He asked, though his voice was low and careful. She didn't answer at first. She stared out the window at the passing city lights. The silence stretched. But it wasn't cold. They said I looked tired during interviews, Anna finally said, her voice barely a whisper. That I wasn't glowing enough. Keanu didn't respond with words. Instead, he turned his face toward the glass, letting her have her moment. He understood. When they reached the venue, they were greeted by fans, reporters, and red carpets. Rolled out like dreams. But something in Anna's eyes stayed distant. She posed, smiled, waved, but she wasn't fully there. Inside, the ceremony began. The crowd was filled with stars, but Anna only noticed the lights. They seemed too bright tonight. Keanu leaned toward her once, whispering, if it gets too loud, just look at me. I'll be here. Anna nodded, barely. The moment she was announced. As the winner of Best Actress, the room erupted. She stood, smiled wide for the cameras, and walked to the stage. But her steps were slow, her heart was heavy. She accepted the award, said thank you, spoke about her director, her cast, and her journey. But toward the end, her voice cracked. Not loudly, but Keanu noticed. He saw her blink too many times. Saw her free hand curl tightly at her side. After the speech, she walked backstage. She didn't go to the press. She didn't go to the celebration area. She turned into a quiet hallway and sat on a bench, hands shaking. Keanu followed her. He didn't speak. He just sat down next to her. She didn't say anything at first. She just breathed in and out, staring at the floor. Then slowly her eyes filled. Her hands trembled harder. I don't feel strong, she whispered, and then it broke. The tears came suddenly, like a storm she had tried too long to hold back. Her shoulders started shaking, and she lowered her face into her hands. Keanu said nothing. He didn't tell her to stop. He didn't offer a lesson. He just reached out slowly, gently, and held her hand. He didn't squeeze. He didn't move. He just stayed. And in that silence, something beautiful happened. Anna didn't feel judged. She didn't feel weak. She felt safe, and that made her cry harder. But they weren't the same tears anymore. They weren't the kind that broke her. They were the kind that began to heal. 5 years earlier, Anna had walked off a film set in tears. It was her first major role, and the director had shouted at her in front of the entire crew, said she was too soft for Hollywood. That night, she thought about quitting. But the next morning, she received a message. It was simple. I saw what happened. Don't let their voices become your own. Keanu, they barely knew each other back then. She had played a small part in one of his films. But somehow, he noticed, they didn't become best friends overnight. They didn't start calling each other every day. Instead, Keanu would check in from time to time, small messages, a note of encouragement, an unexpected visit during a tough shoot, a shared coffee on a cold morning, little things. But over time, those little things began to matter more than the big ones. And now, Zena sat with an award in her lap and tears in her eyes. Those little things became everything. She turned slightly and looked at Keanu, still holding her hand. How do you always know when I'm not okay? She asked softly. He finally spoke. Because I know what it feels like to smile in front of thousands and feel empty inside. Anna nodded, her lips trembling. And you're not empty, he added. You're just tired from carrying too much alone. She squeezed his hand then, just once. That one squeeze said what words couldn't. Thank you. Don't leave. I'm not okay. Maybe I will be. Later that night, while everyone else danced and drank under golden chandeliers, Anna and Keanu sat on a quiet balcony. The wind was cold, and the stars were real. Anna leaned her head on his shoulder. I don't want to be strong all the time, she whispered. Then don't, Keanu replied. Just be honest. That's stronger than pretending. She smiled through her tears, and for the first time that night, she felt like she could breathe, again, like she didn't have to prove anything, like she was enough, just as she was. No performance, no spotlight, just two people, sitting in the quiet, holding hands under the sky, and sometimes that's where the real healing begins. 3 days passed, and Anna stayed quiet. No interviews, no posts, no appearances. The world started guessing. Headlines popped up. Anna de Armas missing from spotlight. After emotional speech, where did she go? Keanu Reeves seen. In New York alone. But none of that mattered to her right now. She was at Keanu's cabin in the mountains, a place no one knew about. It wasn't grand, just quiet, warm. A fireplace that worked when you knew how, windows that looked out. 2 trees instead of buildings, and shelves filled with old books that smelled like time. Anna walked barefoot on the wooden floor that creaked with every step. Her hair was loose, her voice had rested, and for the first time in weeks, she didn't feel like she was being watched. Keanu was outside chopping wood, not for show, not for some photo op, just because the fire needed feeding. When he came in, his cheeks were red from the cold and his hands rough from the axe. You're not answering your phone, he said, placing a fresh log on the fire. I turned it off, she replied softly. Felt like it was ringing for the wrong reasons. He nodded. Good. Sometimes the right silence is better than the wrong noise. Anna looked at him. I keep replaying the night of the award, she said. Not the speech, not the crying. The part right before it all. When I was walking to the stage and every step felt fake. Keanu leaned against the wall, listening. I remember thinking, she continued, if I fall right now, will anyone notice it wasn't an accident? The room fell into deep silence. Then Keanu walked over and sat beside her. I would've noticed, he said quietly. Anna closed her eyes. I know, she whispered, and that's why I didn't fall. They sat together for a while, the fire crackling beside them, painting orange lines across the floor. Later that night, Anna found an old photo on the shelf. It was of Keanu, much younger, standing with an older man in front of a motorcycle. "Who's this?" she asked, holding up the frame. Keanu took the picture and smiled. His name was Elias. He taught me everything I needed to know about staying. Human Anna raised an eyebrow. Like what? Keanu set the picture down. Like how to walk away from a crowd and still feel whole. How to listen without fixing. How to carry someone's pain without owning it. Anna looked at him for a long time. Was he your mentor? Keanu nodded. He was also the first person to see the broken parts of me and not try to hide them. Happened to him? Cancer. Took him in the middle of winter, Keanu said, his voice soft. But before he died, he made me promise something. What was it? Keanu looked straight into her eyes. He said, when you see someone drowning, in silence, don't throw words. Just sit in the water with them. Anna's breath caught. You did that for me? She whispered. And I always will, he said. The next morning, Anna stepped outside alone. She walked into the woods behind the cabin, following a trail of her own thoughts. The trees were tall and still, no cameras, no makeup, no expectations, just her breath, her heartbeat, and the sound of snow crunching beneath her feet. When she reached a small frozen lake, she stopped and stared at her reflection. And for the first time in a long time, she didn't look away. She saw the tiredness, yes, but also the strength behind it, the softness that hadn't died, the fire that hadn't gone out. Then slowly she knelt down and whispered, I still believe in you. And somehow, saying it out loud made it feel real. That afternoon, as they sat on the porch, drinking tea from mismatched mugs. You ever think about quitting? Anna asked suddenly. Keanu looked at the trees before answering. Double quotes? Yeah, more than once. After my sister died. After a friend betrayed me. After a movie flopped so hard they didn't even let me audition anymore. What stopped you? The truth, he said. What truth? That even when I didn't feel seen, ... The work still mattered. The story still reached someone. Looked at her then, serious. You don't have to be okay to be meaningful, Anna. You just have to be honest. Anna blinked slowly, letting those words sink in. Then she said, you should write a book. He laughed. Maybe, but for now, I'm just showing up. Just then, a small rusted truck pulled up the hill. A woman in her 60s stepped out. She had snow in her hair and a kindness in her eyes. Keanu, she called. I brought those. Blankets you like, Elena, he said, standing up. Come meet someone. Anna stood, shy at first. But Elena smiled wide. I know you, she said, shaking Anna's hand. You cried on stage the other night. I cried too, not because you were weak, ... but because you were brave. Anna didn't know what to say. You reminded me of my daughter, Elena continued. She stopped crying in public a long time ago. I wish she hadn't. After Elena left, Anna looked at Keanu. You know the right people. I know the real people, he said. That evening they cooked together. Nothing fancy, just pasta and garlic bread. But it felt more sacred than any restaurant. Anna chopped onions, her eyes watering. I'm crying again, she laughed. This time it's the onions. Keanu was semi-arcade. They ate near the fire. The quiet between them was full, not empty. Then Keanu said something unexpected. You should tell your story. Anna looked up. What do you mean? All of it, not just the parts they like, not just the polished pieces, the crying. Burnout, the doubt. People need to see that the strong ones get tired too. Anna was quiet. But I'm still figuring it out, she said. Exactly, he nodded. And that's what makes it beautiful. Later that night, Anna opened her journal for the first time in weeks. The pages were blank, waiting, and she began to write. Not lines for a character, not words for a role, just truth. Her truth about feeling. Small and big rooms, about not recognizing her own reflection, about hands that shake and voices that crack and hearts that sometimes need help beating, and somewhere between the lines. She started to feel whole again. Keanu walked past her, carrying a blanket. Cold? He asked. A little, she said. He placed the blanket around her shoulders gently, then walked to the window and looked out at the stars, He said some of the brightest stars we see already burned out, but their light still reaches us. Anna turned the page in her journal and whispered, "Maybe I'm still burning, even if I can't see it yet." And in that moment, she believed it. Just a little, but enough to begin. Anna's phone buzzed again. It had been 2 weeks since the awards night. It was 2 weeks of silence, of rest, of walking through the woods and writing pages she never expected to share. But today, the phone didn't buzz because of gossip. It was a message from her agent. "Studio needs you in LA. Urgent meeting. They want to pull you from the project. Says you're too unstable after the breakdown." Anna stared at the words like they were written in ice. Her stomach twisted. She had fought too hard to get this role. A powerful lead, not another. Pretty face, not another side character. And now they wanted to take it from her, just because she showed feeling. She showed truth. Keanu was sitting on the porch when she walked outside. The cold wind caught her hair, and the anger in her face was clear. "They're dropping me," she said flatly. Keanu looked at her quietly, his eyes calm. "Because I cried," she added, the bitterness rising. "No," Keanu said gently, "because they don't understand what strength really looks like." Anna sat down hard on the wooden steps. "I should have stayed quiet, should have smiled, done the press, posted the perfect caption, played the game." "Be gone," Keanu said, "the real you." She looked at him, her throat tight. "What do I do now?" "You fight," he said simply. "Not for the role, not for the fame. For your right to feel and stay. For every woman told, she's too emotional, too messy, too much." Anna shook her head. "But I'm scared." "Good," he replied. "Only the brave admit they're scared." The next day, they drove back to the city. For hours, Anna wore no makeup, just a hoodie and jeans. She kept her journal in her lap, her fingers brushing the cover again and again. As they reached LA, the noise returned. Billboards, traffic, faces in every window. The weight of it all dropped back onto her shoulders. She was supposed to walk into the studio quietly, take the meeting, apologize, explain, convince them she was still useful. But something had shifted as they parked. She turned to Keanu. "Will you wait here?" "Always," he said. Anna walked into the studio alone. The meeting room was cold. 3 producers sat across the table, sipping from expensive coffee cups and looking politely impatient. "Anna," the lead producer began, "thank you for coming. We've all seen the media reaction. It's a delicate time for the film, and I'm not here to apologize," she said. Cutting in softly, they blinked. "I'm here to remind you why you cast me in the first place," she said, voice calm but clear. "I bring truth. I bring heart. I bring feeling. If that's not what you want, then maybe this isn't the right film for me." One of the younger producers shifted uncomfortably. The lead raised his eyebrow. "You had an emotional episode during a high-profile event," he said. "Yes," she replied. "And the world saw it, and they understood it. I didn't break. I showed up as a human being." There was a long silence. Finally, the youngest producer spoke. "She's right," he said. "The numbers show her speech reached more people. Then the trailer, the engagement went through the roof. People saw themselves in her." The room shifted. The lead producer stared at her, unsure. "So what now?" he asked. Anna looked him in the eye. "I finished what I started," she said, "but not as a puppet. As a woman who's done pretending." Tapped his fingers against. The table then finally said, "All right, you keep the role. Don't give them anything else to spin." Anna stood slowly. "I'll give them something real," she said. "And that's more powerful than spin." Outside, Keanu was leaning against the car when she returned. She didn't speak. She just walked up to him and wrapped her arms around his waist, pressing her face into his chest. "They kept me," she whispered. "But only because I didn't fold." Keanu placed a hand on the back of her head. "You didn't just stand your ground," he said. "Turned it into something stronger, That night, Anna posted on social media for the first time in weeks. I cried. And I'm not sorry. We need more truth in a world full of noise, or softness in places that reward only strength. I'm still here, still working, still feeling. And maybe that's enough. The post went viral within minutes. Thousands of comments poured in. Thank you for being real. This made me feel seen. We cry too, and we're still strong. Even celebrities shared it, but more important were the unknown names. The quiet voices who said things like, I was going to quit today, but I won't now. Your silence with Keanu said more than words ever could. Anna read each one slowly, her fingers trembling. They see me now. She said out loud, Keanu, sitting beside her, nodded. They always wanted to. In the weeks that followed, the movie resumed production. But something had shifted. Anna walked onto set with no armor. No extra face, and the crew noticed. People smiled more. The makeup artist cried during a scene. Sound guy gave her a note that simply said, Thank you for reminding us it's okay to feel. One day between scenes, a young intern came up. To her, he was nervous, holding something in his hand. I wrote this, he said. After I saw your post, Anna took the paper and read it quietly. It was a short poem. When the lights are loud and the world wants a show, you sat in silence and let your tears grow, and in that quiet. You gave us peace, a moment to breathe, a chance to release. Anna looked up, eyes full. Can I keep this? She asked. He nodded, tears in his eyes. One night, as filming wrapped for the day, Anna and Keanu sat under the studio lot. Stars. The fake skyline. The old props. The silence after the noise. Do you regret anything? She asked. Keanu thought for a while. Sometimes, he said. But not when I lead with kindness. Not when I protect someone instead of trying to fix. Then Anna turned to him. You protected me. With silence. With presence. No one's ever done that for me before. Keanu smiled gently. You didn't need fixing, he said. You just needed someone to sit in the water with you. Anna leaned her head on his shoulder. You think people will forget? Maybe, he said. But the ones who matter, they'll remember. The stars above them flickered like old stories, and for once, neither of them needed to say anything more. The night before the film's final scene, Anna stood alone on the rooftop of the studio building. The city below was glowing, buzzing, moving like a machine that never stopped. She wrapped her coat tighter, not because of the cold, but because of the weight in her chest. It had been weeks since she stood on this same set, unsure if she would even keep her role. Now, tomorrow, the final shot would be taken. The movie would wrap, and everything would go quiet again, or would it? Behind her, she heard the door creak open. Keanu stepped out, holding 2 mugs of tea. He didn't say anything at first. Just handed her the mug and stood beside her. You always find me, she said with a tired smile. I don't have to look very far, he replied. Your silence speaks louder than most people shouting. She sipped the tea, her hands warming. Around the cup? I thought finishing this film would bring me peace, she said. But I feel like I'm standing on the edge of something. I don't know whether to jump or walk away. Keanu looked out at the city. Maybe you're not supposed to do either, he said. Maybe this edge is where you pause. Reflect. Rebuild. Anna turned to him. What if I fall again? She asked. Then I'll be right here, he said softly, like last time. The next day, filming began early. The final scene was emotional Lena's character losing someone she loved, but choosing to keep living. The camera rolled, the lights dimmed. The moment was raw. Anna stood in the center of the scene, tears welling up, chest rising with each breath. She didn't act. She remembered the night she broke down backstage. The night Keanu held her hand without asking questions.
Oh, the quiet strength he gave her when she couldn't find her own.
And when the director shouted,
Cut!
No one moved. The crew stood still. The silence was thick, reverent, then applause. Begans, oft, then building, not polite. Not for the cameras. It was for her honesty. For her courage, the director walked up with mist in his eyes. "You didn't perform that," he said. "You lived it. Thank you for trusting us with something real." Anna nodded slowly, her voice stuck in her throat. That night there was a private wrap dinner. No press, just the crew. Laughter, toasts, clinking glasses. Anna sat at the corner table. Watching everyone celebrate, Keanu walked over, sliding into the chair beside her. "You okay?" he asked, familiar and gentle. "Should be," she said. "But I keep waiting for the crash. Like my heart doesn't believe it's allowed to rest." "Then let it rest here," he said. "In this moment. No headlines. No pressure. Just people who love you." Anna looked around. The grip giving her a thumbs up. The costume girl smiling. The boom operator waving. All of them saw her now.
Not
The version from posters. Not the one from red carpets, her. But just as peace began to settle in, her phone buzzed again. It was her sister. "Call me now." "It's Mom." Anna stepped outside, heart pounding. The call only lasted 30 seconds. She hung up and stared at the pavement. Her mother had collapsed back home in Cuba. Doctors weren't sure what was wrong yet, but it didn't sound good. Keanu found her 5 minutes later. He saw her shoulders. The way they curled inward like the world had grown too heavy again. "What happened?" he asked. Anna turned, eyes wide, voice shaking. "It's my mom," she said. "She's in the hospital. Need to go." "Then we go," Keanu said without hesitation. Anna blinked. "You don't have to. I want to," he said firmly. "You held on to me when I needed grounding. Let me hold on to you now." By morning, they were on a private flight. Anna sat curled in the window seat, journal in her lap, but no words coming. Keanu sat quietly beside her. He didn't ask questions. He didn't try to make it better. He just sat as the plane soared through. "The clouds," Sana whispered. "I'm scared she won't know me. She's been so weak lately, and I've been gone so long." Keanu placed a hand gently over hers. "She knows you, Anna, and she's proud. Not because of the awards, but because you feel, because you care. That's her legacy." Anna turned her head toward the window again, tears slipping silently down her cheeks. At the hospital, Anna's sister met them in the lobby. "She's sleeping," she said. "But she's stable. They don't know what caused it yet. Just extreme exhaustion and dehydration." Anna felt a rush of guilt. She had been so wrapped in her own world. The lights, the expectations, the fear. She hadn't called her mother in 2 weeks. Now, she might lose her. She walked into the hospital room slowly. Her mother looked small, fragile. The woman who once danced barefoot in the kitchen now lay motionless under a thin blanket. Anna sat beside her and held her hand. "Mommy?" she whispered. "It's me." Her mother's eyes fluttered open, slowly focusing, and then a smile. "Weak but true." "Me Estrella," her mother whispered. "My star." Anna broke again, not with shame, but with love. "I'm sorry I've been far," she said. "I was. Try not to fall apart." Her mother squeezed her hand faintly. "But you're still here," she whispered. "That's all that matters." Keanu stood outside the room, giving them space. A nurse walked past and did a double take. "Are you?" she began. He smiled kindly. "Just here for a friend." Over the next few days, Anna stayed at her mother's bedside. They talked, they cried, they remembered. And slowly, Anna realized something. She had been running for so long toward success, away from pain, chasing perfection. But here, in this simple room, holding her mother's hand, she found peace, not in doing more, not in being more, but in being present. One evening, her mother looked at her seriously. "Promise me something," she said. "Anything. Don't let the world turn your heart to stone. Keep crying when you need to. Keep feeling deeply. Your softness is your power." Anna nodded slowly, tears in her eyes. "I promise." As they flew back to LA a week later, Anna sat beside Keanu, staring out at the stars. "You saved me again," she said quietly. "No," he replied. "You saved yourself. I just sat in the silence with you." She reached into her bag and pulled out the poem the intern had written her. You think people forget kindness? She asked. Keanu shook his head. They carry it, sometimes for a lifetime. Anna leaned her head on his shoulder. I'm ready now, she whispered. Not to perform, but to live. Keanu smiled. Then the real story begins. 3 months later, the movie premiered. 1,000 lights flashed as the cast walked the red carpet. Fans screamed. Reporters reached out. Questions flew like sparks. Anna stood still in the middle of it all, wearing a simple black dress. Elegant. Not loud. Grounded, not staged. She took a deep breath, looked down the carpet, and saw him, Q, standing calmly a few feet back. Not trying to shine, just watching, just being. And that made her smile. But this night wasn't about the lights anymore. It wasn't about the camera angles or trending moments. It was about survival. It was about truth. When the film ended, the entire room stood in silence. Not applause, not yet, just stillness. Then slowly, like waves rising, the clapping came. Strong, real, lasting. Anna didn't cry this time, not because she wasn't moved, but because she was whole. Later that evening, during the post-screening Q&A, a young girl in the audience stood up. She held the microphone nervously. Hi, she said. This is for Anna. How did you act that last scene where your character chose to keep living even after so much pain? Because. It felt real. Anna looked at her gently, her voice soft. Because it was real, she said. I've been there, broken, unsure if I could take another step. But someone sat with me, not to fix me, just to stay. She looked toward Keanu for a moment, and that made all the difference. The room fell quiet. Then someone whispered thank you from the back, and it spread. A few more voices echoed it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anna lowered her head, humbled. Her heart felt full, not because of fame, but because she had reached someone weeks later. Anna started something new. She launched a quiet initiative, no press, no fame, the Silent Circle, a program for actors, artists, and creators who were burning out, breaking down, or just needed someone to sit with them. No therapy, no fixing, just presence. They met in quiet rooms with soft lighting and no phones. People cried, laughed, rested. Keanu helped her build it. It's not as a co-founder, not as a headline, just as a friend. Anna remembered something Elias had said to Keanu. It's the words he'd passed on to her. When someone is drowning in silence, don't throw words. Just sit in the water with them. And that became the core message of the program. One night, Anna received a letter in the mail. It wasn't fancy. No return address. It's just a folded piece of paper inside. I was going to end my life the night I saw your interview. But I saw your tears. I saw how he held your hand, and something told me. Maybe I could wait one more day. You saved me.
Oh.
Of you. Thank you for showing that breaking isn't the end. Sometimes it's the beginning. Anna held the letter close to her chest. She didn't cry this time, either, but her heart did. And she knew with quiet certainty this was why not the awards, not the fame. This was why she stayed. Keanu and Anna didn't do interviews about the circle. They didn't take photos. They didn't post. But word spread anyway, through whispers, through the people who sat in those rooms, through the ones who walked in feeling forgotten, walked out remembering they mattered. One evening, after a long day of helping new members settle in, Keena and Keanu sat under the same stars that once watched them from the studio rooftop. They shared a blanket and a quiet smile. You think people will keep coming? Anna asked. Yes, Keanu said, because we all need a hand to hold, even the strong ones, especially the strong ones. Anna looked at him for a long time. You never asked for anything in return, she said. Keanu looked into the night sky. Kindness isn't a contract, he said. It's a seed. We plant it, and we walk away hoping it grows. What if it never does? She asked. He turned to her. It already did, he said, placing his hand gently over hers. And just like before, no words were needed. She knew he knew, and somewhere, across cities and hearts and quiet corners of the world, others knew too, because healing doesn't always shout, sometimes it just holds your hand, stays.